Apostle Dr. Ann Jackson, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Amen. And how has the power of prophecy blessed and impacted your life?
I had heard about you about 30-something years ago, and some years later you came to, when I was a resident of Jacksonville, Florida, you came by way of another pastor there, and a lot of us pastors got together and went to see it at the hotel. I think it was the Hilton, one of those nice ones. And I was in the front, and you ministered to me, and my background was Baptist, and we didn't believe in nothing. And that night you ministered to me. You called me out and you said, "Woman of God, I see a lot of books around you." And you said, "I see you exceeding in a lot of different areas of your life." And I just stood and looked. And after a few days, nothing happened. I looked for it to happen overnight, but it didn't. And so the power of prophecy has moved. Since that time, I relocated to Charlotte, North Carolina. And God started to manifest himself here. From the time I met you, my children were like 4 and 5 years old. They're now 34 and 36 years old. Wow. And so God has the power of prayer through your ministry to me has really manifested itself. You told me, you said, "I see books, I see you writing books." And I said, "I can't see myself doing nothing." So I heard it. I planted my seed that night.
So that means the prophetic word didn't look like it made any sense at that time concerning your life at that moment.
It didn't. And you said that God would use me in ministry to prophesy, and that God will cause me to be stirred and cause ministries to be birthed out of my life. And I couldn't see that either.
So you couldn't see ministry?
No, not like that. No.
And we also told you something about you would be doing something with children.
Yes. And I said, not me.
Not you?
Not me, no.
So it looked like nothing in the prophecy matched or fit? No,
it didn't. Not you not knowing me and telling me things. And at the time, I worked for Revlon. I worked for legal aid and what have you. And it just didn't match because that was not where I wanted to go. And you said I would become an entrepreneur, and I said I didn't see that either. And I tried it, but it didn't go anywhere. So years later, when I got here, God began to manifest himself in everything I had seen. And I hadn't heard from you. I hadn't heard where you were. Had never heard from you ever again. And so God started manifesting himself. And so I retired from Wachovia Bank in 2003 after God told me. You sent a letter somewhere that came to my mom's house. She said, "I got this letter." She must have had it about a year. And I said, "Well, what he writing me for?" And so, and so I opened it, and you said God was going to bless me, on my job, and he blessed. I got retired, It was time for me to come off, and I wasn't going to come off because I knew how people act, and I just didn't think I could survive. And like I say, I'm a believer because what you prophesied, everything you prophesied came to pass. I retired in 2003. I started a small business that year, and became an entrepreneur. And it didn't seem like it was going nowhere. And I said, "Well, God," but anyway, make a long story short, I'm working on my 5th degree.
You're working on your what?
My 5th degree.
There was a lot of books around you. Go ahead.
You told me that I would excel in wisdom, and so far I have a PhD in theology. I have a master's in biblical studies. I have a degree in human services. I have a degree in social work, and I'm working on one now. This is my last year, and I'm a 4.1 GPA at North Carolina Central University, and I'm majoring in early childhood education.
No. Early what?
Early childhood education.
Wait. I thought you weren't going to do nothing with children. That don't look like a fit prophet. You might be missing that.
And everything that you told me back that time has come to pass because I'm also an advocate for domestic violence here in Charlotte, North Carolina with the courthouse. So God gave, after you spoke into my life, I do have a small business here in Charlotte called Fountain of Jacob. And so this is my business card.
Fountain of Jacob, Inc., Restoring Family Values. Ann Jackson, Executive Director.
Yes, and I have.
Come on, let's give God some praise for that.
And since that time, since I got that, God began to speak again, because I do mainstream, and I was telling my minister that, I said, you know what, I was sending money, but I didn't want you to know I sent it, so I was sending cash. And I didn't want you to know I was sending money, so I was sending the mail cash. I was sending a money order, but I would not put a name on it. And so you would send me letters in the mail. You call me. From the 212 number, and I said, I said, oh, that's just Jordan. and so my first book, and I want to present this book to you, came out May of 2008, Standing Among the Dead Branches, and I designed my own cover with the help of Minister Mitchell. And also, God has spoken. I have two other entities under Fountain of Jacob. I have two. I have Next Step Up, which is to help families restore their values in the community, just working with mentoring, tutoring programs. And I have the second one called A Fresh Start, where I'm a grant writer. I write grants, and as a matter of fact, my daughter and I will be opening up a childhood learning and development center.
A what?
A childhood learning and development center.
A what?
A childhood learning and development center, the first of the year. Wow. And we're looking for a building right now. But this is the power of prophecy. Everything he said to me is coming just like he said. I had to go through some changes in my life, some hoops, but I held on to that. And like some of you all, I did not want to believe what he said, because he didn't know me and to say those things. And I do support. As a matter of fact, I called Minister Mitchell one night. I said, you know what? Dial this number. I want you to listen. And so we were on listening to your mom, Prophetess Mary Jordan, and Manasseh, and your wife, Pastor Deborah, and Prophetess Cynthia, and all of them. We listened to them, and the prophets from the islands. We listened to them. And I said, I'm not telling whom I'm listening, but this is the power of prophecy.